Bring flowers to the children. Bring flowers to the children. Bring flowers to the children. Bring flowers and love.
My name is Judy Rubertino, and I'm a bereaved parent. As a mother of 3 children. And this is Vincent James, age 4. Picture was taken 4 months before he was killed.
Bring many splendid colors. Bring many splendid colors. Bring many splendid colors. Bring colors and love.
My name is Fran Wollenhouse Monday. I am the mother of a murdered child. My daughter, Marla Ann Wollenhouse, was murdered in my home in May 1979, and the murder is still unsolved. It has been 16 years of struggling with the pain of not knowing who killed my daughter or why. This has affected my entire family. It has affected my relationship with my husband, with my other children, and with my husband's children.
And dance upon the mountains, and skip upon the green, green grass. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Look up to the sky and drink in all the sunshine and hear the breeze that moves the trees. Pick a cloud that has your name, float on way up high.
In 1972, when my mother was murdered, I was 23 years old, and my youngest sibling was 11. And the ages ranged 11, 13, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. So we range from what you would call pre-adolescence to adolescence. And what's really important is that we've been talking a lot about children, and it's important to know that older children grieve too. And even when you're 23 years old, you still need your mom. And when your mom has been murdered, that factor of safety that parents give you, it's all gone.
Bring rainbows to the children. Bring rainbows to the children. Bring rainbows to the children. Bring rainbows and love.
On May 5th in 1993, we were all together as a family up front, and we were getting ice cream from an ice cream truck. And a car full of teenage drivers came down the road that had been drinking, and they flew around the ice cream truck, and Vincent James was killed. Before Vinny was killed, he was currently attending preschool, and he attended on Tuesday and Thursday morning, and they always did different units, and recently they were doing a unit on gardening. And he had brought home a sunflower plant, and it was about 2 inches high, and it was about a week before he was killed. And it was on the windowsill with the intention to plant it when we planted our garden, which we had hoped to do that for Mother's Day. That's how I wanted to spend the day. And sadly, that ended up being the day that Vinny was laid out at the funeral home. So a couple days after Mother's Day, my daughters addressed to me that we never did the garden, Mom, on Mother's Day, and that you forgot to plant Vinny's sunflower. I was really overwhelmed, but my husband and my 2 daughters went out and they planted the sunflower under Vinny's bedroom window, and then they planted the garden. And I came out and saw it, and it was so tiny, but it was so nice that we could still plant it for him. So the time went by, and by the end of summer, at 3 months had gone by, my daughters had cared for the sunflowers so importantly, and it grew past the height of our house. And it was so neat to watch it, and it had a stalk that was so big that we used to say if Vinny could see it, he would climb it like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Until recently, children have been excluded from the grief experience. Earlier this year, Dr. Marvin and Joy Johnson spoke at Bereavement Magazine's Homecoming Conference. At that time, they asked some of the leaders in the field of bereavement to speak to these concerns. What do grieving children need to know? What do adults need to know about grieving children? How have families helped the healing experience by remembering and ritualizing special times and memories? In this video, we meet Judy Rubertino, who lost 4-year-old son Vincent James to a drunk driver. She started a local chapter of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Fran Wallenhouse Monday and John Monday lost teenage daughter Marlis Ann to homicide. They co-authored the book Surviving the Death of a Child. The Reverend Wanda Henry Jenkins lost her mother in a homicide, her father to cancer, and a brother to heart disease. She founded the Grief Assistance Program in the city of Philadelphia and authored Just Us, Understanding and Overcoming Homicidal Loss and Grief. Kathleen Braza is a grief counselor and certified thanatologist. She produced To Touch a Grieving Heart, Healing Ways to Help Ourselves and Others Walk the Journey of Grief. Darcy and Robert Sims lost infant son Austin as a result of a brain tumor. Darcy is a psychologist and grief therapist. She wrote, Why Are the Casseroles Always Tuna? Daughter Alicia, Austin's older sister, wrote, Am I Still a Sister?
I think children who are grieving should know that they're not alone and that it's okay to ask for help and that there are other children in the world that feel the way they do.
Children who are grieving need to know that their world has been completely changed and that they'll never go back to the world that they used to know. That nobody can give them a new mommy, a new sister, or a new brother will never take the place of the person who has died. They need to know that it's all right to wake up in the middle of the night and to go to the adult family member and get a hug. That it's okay to wake up and find that the bed is wet and they're 8 years old and they haven't peed in the bed since they were 2 years old. They need to know that it's okay to be afraid and scared. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel lonely. And it's okay to be mad about whatever loss that they've had in their life. And it's okay sometimes to feel that they're expected to act too grown up and to be able to tell the grown-ups in their world, I don't want to be grown. I just want to be a kid. They need to know that it's all right to say that life is not fair, because it's not fair to be 5 and not have a mommy or not have a daddy or to have your best friend, your brother, gone. They need to know that.
But there has to be a way to let these children know that they are loved. That's the main thing that I would say that an adult needs to know, is that the child has to know that he or she is loved as much or more as ever, because life has now become very precious. And the loss of life is very precious. And they have to know that their life is every bit as important.
And I find that sometimes children, if we give them a chance, and if we just let them in on the world of grief, where they can share their feelings and emotions, they can help us to grieve. And the most important thing I find with children is important that children need to know that grief is a family affair, because death is a family affair, and love is a family affair, and mourning is just love's sorrow. And so it's really important that families do it together, and that's what children need to know most, and that they can trust the adults who are in their world to hear what they need to say.
Children need to know that they are not alone. It's okay to ask for help. That it's normal to feel afraid, to cry, to feel lonely, and to be angry. And it's okay to want to be a child and to not want to be an adult. And children need to know that it's okay to feel that life is unfair. Children in grief need to know that they can trust the adults who are around them. This assurance comes by including the child in planning and discussion and assuring the child that grief is a family affair and the child is an important part of the family. Especially in grief, the child needs to be reassured that he or she is loved as much as before the loss, and now in bereavement and into the future.